This evening we reflect on a very critical subject, the subject of maximizing the youthful stage. When I was putting this presentation together, a number of things came to my mind. And I tried as much as possible to just go back into my own life from the time I was like most of you. And I began to ask myself, when I was like you, where you are now, what would I have loved someone to tell me about? And those are some of the things I managed to put together. And I really hope and pray that you'll pay close attention. I pray that you'll open your mind to learn. I hope that if you're multitasking, you will just focus on one task, which is this one. You will try and listen in, because I believe that your life can be changed. There were a number of occasions back in my life when I attended a meeting like this and someone said something that transformed and changed the course of my life, and I've never been the same. And many times when our paths meet, you have no clue what you're going to hear. So I hope that you approach this meeting with an expectant heart, with an expectant mind, so that as we begin to explore how we can become people of influence as youth, you can begin to see what you can take away. Great. So beginning with, let's look at the word maximize. What does maximize mean? It means to make the best use of. That's what maximizing means, to make the best use of something. That simply means that if we are talking about maximizing the youthful age, how can you put your youthfulness to the best possible use? That is what I mean by maximization. Okay, the agony of many is that oftentimes there are two situations. One, there are many people who are at a later stage in life and they look back in regret as to what they did. Because perhaps they tell themselves, if I had done something better when I was young, maybe my life could have turned out differently. And the other option is a number of people are also in agony over the things they did, because some of the things they did in their youthful years has had a strong implication on their later years. So I want to challenge you this day, this evening, not to follow in that trap, not to fall in that racket, not to fall victim to regret over the things you did or the things you did not do. Why? Because you have an opportunity to make a difference. You have an opportunity. I am not sure if you realize it. My wife is now 32, but oftentimes she says, when I see people who are 23, 24, and 25, I really envy them. You know, she looks back, not that she has any regrets, but you know, she enjoys that time when she was young. And it is good for you to enjoy those stages. So you are not young forever. I want to tell you something, you are not young forever. At the beginning of this decade, which we just finished, 2010, I had just left campus. Look, I was young. I had just left the university. I had just graduated with my mechanical engineering degree, as you had in my introduction. 10 years later, look, I am married for 6 years. We have 2 daughters. One is starting school next year. Life moves pretty fast. Guys, you are not young forever. You are not young forever. Before you realize it, you will be an old person taking children to school. So let's maximize our youthful stage. Become a youth of use. Otherwise, you will become a useless youth. Let me say that again. Become a youth of use. Otherwise, you risk becoming a useless youth. And I'm telling you this because I know. I speak to young people. I mentor young people. I engage with young people on several occasions. You know, someone watched me speaking to an audience of older people, like people in the corporate sector, and then the same person watched me speaking to an audience of people like your age, and they said, Jesse, the way you spoke to those young people is the way I have never seen you deliver. And I think that's true, because I think when I speak to you, I have a special heartbeat for you, because I have just left where you are. So I identify with you, and it is my prayer, it is my zeal, it is my passion. I feel it is my calling to help young people to discover a better way of life. Because the whole world is complaining about young people of these days. Everyone is complaining, and I believe we can change the narrative. I believe we can be a special breed. I believe that we can make a difference and stand out in whatever spheres of influence we are. So the first thing you can do I'm just going to share with you 4 things, and then I'll open this up for discussion. The first thing that a young person needs to know in order to maximize their youthful years is to discover themselves. Self-discovery. I talk about this so passionately because when I talk about self-discovery, I think about different P's. The first P is purpose. As a young person, you need to recognize that you are not here by accident. You need to recognize that God did not mass produce you. No, you know how in manufacturing, in mechanical and manufacturing, we talk about production. Many times when you go to a manufacturing plant, if you go to a factory, you'll find there is mass production. If they are producing bottles, they put them on an assembly line and they produce mass. They produce many in the, you just put in dimensions and you'll have the same item, about 1,000 of them. Let me tell you something, you were not mass produced. You were specifically designed and uniquely shaped for something special. Question is, do you know what you're here for? You have a special purpose. And as a young person at your age, if you do not spend time to realize your purpose, if you do not take time to discover yourself, you're going to spend the rest of your life wandering, and you will wake up at the age of 65 knowing that you have wasted your life. Take time to discover yourself. Take time to ask yourself, what am I here for? Why did God put me on this planet? Because I'll tell you this, if you look at your fingerprint right now, I want you to just pause. If you're taking notes, just look at your fingerprint. Just right now, look at that fingerprint. I want to tell you that in the population of the world today, which is about 8 billion people, there is no one that has ever had that fingerprint. There is no one with that fingerprint, and there is no one that will ever have that fingerprint. That fingerprint is yours. It speaks to the identity that you have, that you are special, you are unique. There is no one who will ever be like you. Discover your purpose. Realize that God put you here for something special. The second thing you need to discover is your potential. Realize that whatever God made you to do, He built you to do it. I'd love to give an example of, take for example, cars. You know, if you look at a racing car, a car that is designed for racing, like the Ferrari cars, that car is specially designed to maximize its potential, it's to fulfill its purpose. How? The tires of that car are not the same tires that your parents drive. The tires of the engine of that car is not the same engine of my car, which I used to move me around town. The interior of that car is not designed the same way my car is designed. Whatever you were born to do, you were built to do. You have special innate potential inside each of us here. Let me tell you something. This is the good news, that nobody came here with zero potential. Everybody has something. Everybody has something. I like the parable of the talents, where one person got 5 talents, another one got 2, and another one got 1. Now, the beauty about that story is that no one got 0. I want to tell all of us here who are on the call that there is something special. That's why we call it self-discovery. We call it self-discovery because it is already within you. You just need to discover it. It is just like oil in Uganda. Oil was already in here before we discovered it. All we did was to discover it. We didn't put it here. All you have to do is to discover your potential. It is said that your potential is your gift, is God's gift to you. How you use it is your gift back to your Creator. Because the richest place in the world is not the oil fields of South Africa, it's not the diamond mines in different parts of the world. The richest place in the world is the graveyard. Because in the graveyard, people are born with potential that they did not utilize. And that's why we are talking about maximizing your youthful age. Because if you don't, you're going to take your potential to the graveyard. Maximize your potential. The other thing you can do as a young person is to discover your passion. What are you born to do? What were you put on this earth to do? What do you feel passionate about? What are your passions? Are you passionate about health? Are you passionate about music? Are you passionate about medicine? Are you passionate about engineering? You know, young people, the challenge we have today is that you go through school and after finishing your degree, you put it down and then you ask yourself, what do I want to do with my life? What a wasted time in school. Quite frankly, I think that is the worst thing that can happen to someone. Because you go through school and you don't know what you're going to do with your life. You drive to your graduation day and you have no clue what you're going to do after graduation. Discover your passion and then live your life intentionally following the direction, the path of your passion. As a young person, if you can discover this, and how do you discover this? There are many ways, but I'll just give you maybe 3. The first one is look within. When I say look within, I mean, what's your gut feeling? What do you feel you love? You know, there is that thing that awakens you every time you think about it. In my case, it was public speaking. Let me tell you how I knew. Back in high school, I was doing PCB stroke math. Back in the day, we did 4 subjects at HSC, at high level, at advanced level. So one time they came to class to ask someone who would like to participate in a debate. Look, I had never, ever participated in a debate. I just put up my hand. And then they said, what's your name? My name is Jesse Inebiana. What combination do you do? PCB stroke math. They said, say that again, PCB stroke math. They said, people of your combination don't debate. I said, I would like to participate. So I went into the debate, and you know how we used to do high school debates? Honorable Chairman, the opposers, the proposers, and the House at large. And then I paused, and I could almost hear a pin drop. And then I went ahead and I articulated my points, point after point. And at the end of that debate, they said, before we recognize the winning side, let us recognize the debater of that day. I was also looking forward to hearing who this person was, only to hear the name that was being called out. And it was Jesse Inebiana. I said, wow, for the first time in my life, I was being recognized as being excellent at something. That was the one thing I discovered. And then later on, I discovered I actually love this thing. So I then developed my passion as a result of that. Today, my work involves what I'm passionate about. So I want to urge you, if you're on campus and you're studying a course that you have zero passion for, I want you to think again. You may not go back to first year and redo the course. No, you can begin to intentionally discover your passion and begin to follow that path. And there is a way for you to do that, okay? There are opportunities today that can help you, but you have to be intentional. But you have to discover your passion. And then the other thing is, as you take on your profession, let your profession follow through on your passion. Because this is the thing. Passion ignites creativity. I read a statement somewhere that the people who introduced the education system showed us not how to think, but what to think. What a tragedy. They did not show us how to think. They showed us how to. They did not show us how to think. They showed us what to think. Tell us about the Canadian prairies. That's all we did. Tell us about why Said moved this capital from Muscat to Zanzibar. That's all we did. We memorized. What about if you begin to follow your profession alongside your passion? Professionalize your passion. I have a friend called Nelson who was on campus doing civil engineering. He then discovered that, you know what, I am doing this thing, but it's not anywhere close to my heart. I don't like this thing. So he went back to his dad. And that's why I would tell you, as a young person, one of the things you need to do is maintain a healthy relationship with your parents or guardians. Because they are there to support you. They are your financiers. They are your sponsors. They are the ones who are going to help you to fuel and finance your dreams. So this young man went back to his dad and said, Daddy, truth is, I'm doing civil engineering, but I don't quite like it. Would you give me the opportunity to follow my passion? And the dad asked him, what's your passion? And Nelson said, I love music. Okay, so how do we professionalize this? He said, there's an opportunity for me to go and study sound engineering in Australia. He went and did it. The dad was kind enough to pay for him. He went to Australia, did that, and he did internship with Hillsong. Today, Nelson Muhire is one of the most accomplished musicians, composers, and producers. You should see this guy doing his thing. You literally see him as not someone who is working. He is literally living his dream. And that's what life is about. I don't think we are designed to wake up every morning, dread the journey to work, to go on a job that you don't love. I don't think that's what life was meant to be. Back in the day, there was slave trade. Today, this is modern day slavery. They stopped slave trade, but they left the system. And to this day, people still go to a job that they don't love, working with people that they don't like. Why? Because they have no choice. No, as a youth, you have a choice. So professionalize your passion. And last but not least, self-discover your personality. Discover your personality. Know who you are. Know the kind of person that you are. Know what comes easy for you. Knowing what kind of personality you have will help you to put you in the best possible environment, in the best possible situation. You will say, look, I don't think my personality can handle this kind of work. Let me go where I thrive best in my skin. The whole gist of this point is discover yourself as a young person. Because if you don't, you're going to waste your whole life wondering. And by the time you wake up at the age of 60, 65, 70, you look back and it is a life wasted. May that never happen to you. The second point. So the quote I want to leave with you on this point is this: the greatest, if you can read it with me in silence, 1, 2, 3, we go. The greatest discovery in life is self-discovery. Until you find yourself, you will always be someone else. Become yourself. That came in from Miles Monroe. The greatest discovery in life is self-discovery. They say there are 2 best days in your life: the day you were born and the day you discover why. Take time to discover why you are here. The advantage you have is that you're still young. Don't waste this opportunity. Don't waste this chance. Don't think you have a lot of time. Take time to discover yourself so that the rest of your life is lived on purpose. And by the way, let me tell you something, guys. You don't have a long time to live. You don't. Let me tell you this. Let me tell you, and hear me out. No one knows how long you're going to live. I promise you, nobody knows. On the 18th of October 2008, I was in 3rd year at university. I had a friend called David. David was a 3rd year student of medicine at Makerere University. Bright boy, we were together in high school. He was on government sponsorship. He had big dreams. I still remember we started a business together. We were together on Thursday, the 17th of October. We met in Wandegea. We sat, we talked. He told me, one of the things he told me was just always keep track of your finances. And then I left him at the place where I met him. And then when I moved to another point, I still met him and we talked a little bit more. The following day was a Friday. He was traveling to Kumi. I was traveling to Nairobi. I had a speaking engagement. My flight was at 3 a.m. So as I was getting to the airport in the park, I still remember where I was because I had just reached Entebbe in the taxi park heading to the airport. I received a phone call from the sister asking me, Jesse, do you have David's other number? My heart skipped. He said, David was involved in an accident and we cannot quite trace him. 30 minutes after that conversation, another phone call rang, and this time I could hear wailing and crying in the background. That's when I knew something was wrong, only to confirm that David, my friend of 23 years, had passed away. Aged 23, a young campus, young man full of dreams, hopes, and ambitions, passed away just like that. Young people, you don't have a lot of time. Use your time because you don't know how much, you don't know when your clock will stop ticking. So discover yourself. The second thing you can do to maximize yourself, to maximize your youthful age, is to empower yourself. What do I mean by empowering yourself? This is what I mean. Invest in yourself. As a young person, this is the best opportunity to invest in yourself. This is the best opportunity. What do I mean by investing in yourself? It is said that according to Robert Kiyosaki, author of the book Rich Dad Poor Dad, this is what he said. He said there are 4 key areas. Now hear me out right. There are 4 key areas that all of us need to master. And I will tell you this. These things cannot be taught, unfortunately. You cannot sit in class and they teach you. And as you're going to see, none of them is on the syllabus in your class. None of them is on the school curriculum. Even if it is there, it is not effectively taught for you to catch it. These things cannot be taught. These things can only be caught. The first is leadership. What do I mean by leadership? Leadership is the lead that determines your level of effectiveness. Look, if you want to be effective in your life, if you want to be effective at your job, if you want to be effective in Rotary, if you want to be effective in any endeavor that you're involved in, improve your leadership skills. Oftentimes we go and study masters. That is good. Oftentimes we go and add on another paper. That is fantastic. Look, you are improving your competences technically, but are you growing in your leadership skills? Because your leadership skills will always limit how far you go in life. Day in, day out, I see people that are technically competent, but they are being led by people who may not be that technically competent, but they are better in leadership. Build and improve on your leadership ability. The second key area is the area of sales. When I talk about sales, many people think about exchanging products or services for money. Well, that's part of the deal, but that's not the only one. According to the Merriam-Webster dictionary, sales is described as the ability to persuade or cause people to agree with your course of action. Now, that may be including sales, but not entirely. A good example is this. If you go to an interview panel and you're asked, tell us about yourself. Look, you have 1 minute to sell yourself. 1 minute. Many people can sell products, but they cannot sell themselves. Sales simply means, how do you communicate? Can you communicate convincingly? Can you communicate persuasively? This is the opportunity to build your sales ability. Because sales is not only doing sales for money. Sales is about how you speak. It's about how you communicate. It's about how you articulate yourself. Can you cause people to buy into your idea? That is what I mean by sales. Build your ability and capability to build yourself as a salesperson. Don't tell yourself, no, I cannot sell. You can learn. No one was born a salesperson. All of us were born babies. You can learn how to do this. This is the best time to learn it. The third thing you need to acquire is the ability to speak confidently in public. A research was done at the University of Columbia, and it showed two interesting things. Number one, that the fear of public speaking inhibits promotion to management by 15%. That simply means that if you're here right now, probably you could be at a higher position, but because of your inability to communicate confidently in public, you are where you are. The second thing about public speaking is that people who fear public speaking get paid 10% less than those who don't. These are researches that were done. This research was done at the University of Columbia. So think about it. Improve your ability to speak. That's why I'm part of Toastmasters, because it's a platform that enables and empowers people to speak confidently in public. Let me tell you something. They say success is where preparation meets opportunity. One day you will stand up to speak. It might be at a wedding. It might be, some people have even got deals in unique places. You stand up to just speak on behalf of a workmate, and someone is in the audience, they are watching you, they are listening, and they say, excuse me, I would like to get your business card because I think you're the person I have been looking for. Just because of your ability to speak. Improve your ability to communicate in public. I remember one time I went for a meeting, a Rotary meeting, and the guest speaker had not come. So the president asked me, Jesse, can you come up with a session quickly, just here and now, just, come up with something so that we are not embarrassed. So I went and I thought on my feet. I came up with an idea. Let me moderate a session on business growth in Uganda, because it is said Uganda is the highest country in terms of business startups, but most of the startups never live to celebrate 1 year. So I started a session on business growth, entrepreneurship, and people began to contribute. And then when I sat down, a lady walked up to me and said, Jesse, let me have your contact. Then she followed it with a phone call and said, I have been looking for someone to sit on the board of my school, and I think you are the person I have been looking for. That's how today I sit on the board of the ARC International Schools, just because of an opportunity to speak in public. This is an opportunity as a young person to invest in yourself. The last thing is personal finance. How do you manage your money as a young person? Don't waste your money. You are not married, you are young, you are making money, you get your money because you have nothing to do with it, you just blow it, you go and spend it, you go and happen. Invest your money wisely, otherwise you're going to live to regret. Do you have a budget? Do you learn about investments? Have you taken time to be part of an investment club? Have you taken time to diversify your income? Have you taken time to utilize your extra time to make some additional income? Make good use of your time to study finances. This is the time to do that. Other skills that you can invest in, learn about relationships. Young people are messing themselves up with relationships because they don't know. So invest in yourself by learning a little bit more about relationships. Find out what makes good relationships, what makes marriages work. This is the time to read books. This is the time to attend conferences. I still remember I was on campus when there was a relationship conference that I went to attend, and I will forever be grateful that I attended that event. This event was at a church called Full Gospel Church in Makerere. There was a pastor called Pastor Wantate. Anyone who knows him, tell him he does a fantastic job. He quoted a scripture that says, do not awaken love until it is time. I'd never heard that one. I didn't know it was in the Bible. So he went ahead and supported this point and said, look, you are not ready for a relationship when you're still young on campus because of three things. Number one, a relationship is time constraining. Number two, it is financially draining. And three, it is emotionally consuming. I will never forget that talk because he made me literally realize that, look, I was not ready for a relationship at that time. Some of us here are not yet ready for relationships, but you are putting yourself in there and you're squandering your time, you're squandering your money, you are wasting your emotions on someone you know you're not going to get married to. So why are you wasting your time? You'd rather live by the principle socialize, but don't specialize. Socialize with everybody. Don't specialize yet until you're sure that I'm ready for this relationship. So learn about relationships. Learn how to manage and keep time. This is the time, because let me tell you young people, an opportunity will come your way. You will come late and it will close. Some of you will learn it the hard way. I pray you learn it here and now. Learn how to network. Learn how to network. When you go to an event, don't just stick to the people that you know. No, go to someone, walk up to somebody, introduce yourself, say, hello, my name is Jesse Aidebiona. I'm a student at Cavendish University. I'm doing Bachelor of Business Administration. Tell me about yourself. Be confident. People want to mentor you, but they cannot reach out to you. You have to reach out to them. Learn how to network. Don't just go and yokakon among familiar faces. Go, step out of your comfort zone. Go and introduce yourself to somebody, because the opportunity you're looking for is in someone's hands. Reach out to them. The last skill is emotional intelligence and self-control. Emotional intelligence. Learn how to manage your emotions. Some of you get into relationships and then you're head over heels in love. You start posting on social media. You post on Facebook. You post on Instagram. And then boom, things don't work. Then what do? Some of you go on a Friday evening, you're feeling so happy, it's Friday night, you take your photo in that short dress, and then you tell everyone, I'm feeling hot. Okay, that's okay. One day you're going to be competing for MP, Kampala West, and then you will wake up to put up your poster, and someone will pull out that photo and put it on Facebook and say, excuse me, people, is this the person who's going to present us in the parliament? She says she's feeling hot. Maybe she's going to ban us. So emotional intelligence, learn how to control yourself. Some people, when things don't work out, they consider self-harm. Learn how to control your emotions. Learn how to control yourself. Emotional intelligence and self-control. So how do you invest in yourself? Number one, read books. This is the time to put your books on your budget. Listen to audios. Look, there are audios, there are videos all over YouTube. I've started a YouTube channel. You can listen to videos. You can listen to helpful information. And I like to say this, don't just go and you fill yourself with information that is not going to help you. That's all you hear. What is that going to help you? Learn to invest in yourself in meaningful information. Attend seminars. Attend conferences, attend workshops. This is the time to find mentors. Remember what I said? They are not going to come to you. No, you have to go to them. People are willing to mentor you. In Rotary, old people, people who have retired are ready, willing, and hungry to mentor young people. Their complaint, their concern is that young people come visit our clubs and they only keep to themselves. Reach out to somebody. There is free mentorship, but you have to do something about it. So reach out and find a mentor. Be open-minded. When you go to seek mentorship, be willing, be open enough to learn. If they tell you something, don't begin to defend yourself. Listen with an open mind, with a curious spirit, and then work hard. Invest in yourself by working hard. This is the time to work hard, to wake up at 5 a.m. This is the time to work hard. I would go on and on about this point, but I will tell you this. Many places complain that young people of nowadays are lazy. Don't be among those numbers. Don't be part of those statistics. Work hard. If your job is 8 to 5, you can make an additional income. You can start a side business. Make use of your time. This is not the time to have fun and celebrate. This is the time to invest in yourself, because your future can be brighter depending on what you do today. Invest in yourself. A quote on that point is, investing in yourself is the best investment you can make. Let's read that together. 1, 2, 3, we go. Investing in yourself is the best investment you can make. Great. 2 points so far. I hope we are doing well. Self-discovery and empower yourself. Let's move on to the third point. And this is a serious point. Look at this and listen. Protect yourself. As a young person, protect yourself. What do I mean? Physically. Protect yourself physically. Look, as we speak right now, the deaths of COVID are increasing. And there are some people who have decided that, you know what, this thing is not real. This thing is a hoax. It's just political. Look, the last time I checked, people are dying. So protect yourself physically. Protect yourself in terms of your good health. Today young people are getting diseases like diabetes, cancer, high blood pressure because of the food they eat. Physically exercise. Physically have enough rest. Physically take care of your diet. Physically protect yourself. Be in good physical condition. It pains me to see a young person with a chronic terminal illness at the age of 30, at the age of 35, just because they are eating junk. Protect yourself. Be physically fit. Because if you're physically fit now, you will enjoy a long, healthy life. But if you are ailing right now, you are young and you are feeding your body on junk because you are what you eat, take good care of yourself. Be careful with your physical health. Because look, you cannot enjoy the rest of your life if you are not well. Protect yourself. Be physically fit. The second thing is this, and hear me out. Protect yourself sexually. Yes, I'll say that again. Protect yourself sexually. Because I'll tell you this, some of the sexual habits you adopt as a young person are going to follow you up and affect you for the rest of your life. Your own masturbation, your own pornography, those things are going to affect your marriage. I cannot tell you how many marriages are struggling because of the sexual habits people adopted while they were young. Let me tell you something, you cannot cheat life. You cannot cheat life. Protect yourself. If you're not married, abstain. If you are married, be faithful. Protect yourself sexually. There are people that have involved themselves in sexual activities now. Because of that, they have aborted. When it is time to have a baby, they can't. Some of them have had to have their uteruses removed. Others have contracted sexually transmitted diseases like HIV for the rest of their lives. They are going to be on ARVs because of mistakes they made in their youth. Protect yourself sexually. I will say that loud and proud. Number 3, protect yourself mentally. Mentally, because there are things that you are reading that are not right for you. There are videos you're watching that are toxic. They are not right for you. And you also know, because when you're watching them, you have to hide yourself. Protect yourself mentally. Feed yourself with information that is going to help your mind to grow. Because when your mind grows, you get better. As a man thinks in his heart, so is he. So feed your mind with something that is going to help you to get better. Don't read trash. As we used to do in computer science, garbage in, garbage out. If you put in trash, you'll get out trash. What are you reading? Invest in yourself. Buy a book. Even if you don't buy a book, there are free books all over the place. You can get PDF books. Read something that is going to help you and make you a better person. Socially, protect yourself from toxic, negative, and energy draining people. Protect yourself from spendthrifts. Protect yourself from negative association. I have a friend called Sam who usually tells me that if you walk with 9 fools, you will become the 10th. Even the Bible says, if he who walks with the wise grows wise, that simply means tell me who you are. Show me your friends and I'll tell you who you are. Protect yourself socially. Last but not least, protect yourself personally. In terms of your image, some of you post weird photos on Facebook, like I said earlier, and that is encroaching on your image. Let me tell you this. Did you know that when you make a job application, even before you step in, on top of your CV, they check what you last posted on Facebook? Protect your image. Let me tell you, in this digital world, whatever you do is you're on camera 24/7. Whatever you do, whatever you post, people are watching you. There's a time I subscribed to something from, I think it was John Maxwell. They called me that evening and they told me what I had posted. I had posted a quote from Joyce Meyer. They said, you just had a bed. I said, yes. You posted this quote by Joyce Meyer. I said, yes. Look, people are watching you. Protect yourself. Protect your image. Don't do something that you will not be proud of seeing in the newspaper tomorrow. Nowadays, it's not even newspaper. It is social media. You take nude photos and then they are posted all over the place. Why did you take them in the first place? Protect yourself personally, because young people, these are things that are wrecking you. These are things that are going to hold you back from realizing your full potential. Protect yourself. If you cannot hear it from anybody, hear it from me. Let's read that quote together. You must be willing to protect yourself and what you cherish, no matter what the cost may be. You must be willing to protect yourself and what you cherish, no matter what the cost. Some of you are going to have to break some relationships because those relationships are not good for you. Some of you are going to have to break some partnerships because those partnerships are not helping you to grow. Some of you are going to have to delete your accounts on Facebook because those accounts, if they are discovered, you will never get a job in any recognized institution. Some of you are going to have to delete your YouTube videos because if anyone looked at your phone and saw what you have been watching, you are not proud of it. Make a tough decision to protect yourself and what you cherish, no matter the cost. Let's go to our final point. This is a personal thing. Honor and serve God. Why? I say it's personal because Different people have got different beliefs about this. So in case for you, you feel this is not a goal for me, look, I am cognizant of that because there is a young man I am mentoring. So recently, he has been going through a tough time, with some addictions and everything. So recently we were talking, and then I said, look, the purpose of the enemy has a plan. He said, what is the enemy in this case? The devil. He said, wait a minute, you believe in that stuff? So that's when I realized not everybody believes in this. But for those of you who subscribe to this, pay attention closely. Honor and serve God. Why? Here is a statement from King Solomon. King Solomon was the wisest man that ever lived on this planet. In fact, it is said no one has ever amassed wealth to his magnitude. This is what he says in Ecclesiastes chapter 12, verse 1. He says, remember your creator in the days of your youth. There's a reason why he says, remember your creator in the days of your youth. When you're still young, it is an opportunity to honor and serve God. You have a creator. Let me tell you, you didn't just happen randomly, like some people have made you to believe. You were created by God. And he has a purpose and a plan for you. Let me tell you, he has a plan and a purpose for you. That one you can be sure. He didn't put you here just for just. He put you here for something noble, for something great, for something significant. He has a plan and a purpose. And let me tell you the interesting thing about this. He has given us free will. He will not force you to follow him. No, he will leave you to seek him. That's why my caution, my final advice to you as a young person, honor and serve God. Because let me tell you something, God will not let you down. God will not let you down. Let me tell you, my testimony is this. I kept myself sexually pure when I was young. And it was difficult. Don't think it was easy. It was difficult. Everyone else on campus, I still remember going to visit someone's wardrobe. You know how someone says, get me something from my drawer. So I go to his wardrobe and boom, I open, I find a pack of lifeguard condoms. I stepped out because I couldn't imagine that people keep these packets like the way you keep what? I don't know what packets something so normal. So people are actually just doing this on campus. But when you keep yourself pure, God will reward you. I will tell you this. When it was time for me to find a wife, God graciously led me to someone who was just like me. Today we've been married for 6 years. Let me tell you, you're not going to squander your life and expect to finally settle down with someone faithful. No. God has given us free will. If you want God to help you, do things God's way. Without God, life is meaningless. Because the same person, King Solomon, who was the wisest man, he had up to 700 wives, he had 300 concubines, he wrote a statement and said, life is meaningless. Why? Because without God, life is meaningless. Let me tell you this. You can rise in your career, you can drive the best car in town, you can have the whatever, I don't care. If you have no connection with God, you have a void that will never be filled until you have a relationship with your Creator. I will pause at that and just give you this final quote, that great things happen when you partner with God. You have no clue what God can do if you partner with him, but he wants you to partner with him. Look, you are a partner with God. God is not a magician. God works on principle. If you partner with him and you do things the way he prescribes, you will do amazing, magnificent, magnanimous things. But if you choose to do life on your own, that's okay. You have a choice. Remember, it's free will. He doesn't force you. He does not force you. He does not force you. In the Garden of Eden, when God placed the first man there, he saw them eating the fruit. Normally I ask, did God know that they were going to eat the fruit? Yes. Did he see them eating the fruit? Yes. Could he have stopped them? Yes. Did he stop them? No. Why? Because he gave them free will. So you have a choice. And let me tell you, as a young person, I tell you this as a fellow brother, if you want your life to turn out well, partner with God. You'll never be disappointed. Last but not least, as a recap, we have talked about discover yourself. In other words, know yourself. We've talked about empower yourself. In other words, invest in yourself. We've talked about protect yourself. In other words, safeguard your life. We've talked about serve and honor God, because great things happen when God mixes with man. Not God alone, not man alone. God mixes with man. One final thought I want to leave with you. This is one of, I think, for me, my life mission. This is like something that I have grown to love. This is something that I encourage. This is something that wherever I go, I want to tell someone, whatever you do, be your best. Whatever you do, be your best. If you have chosen to sweep, be the best sweeper. If you have chosen to be a doctor, be the best doctor. If you are single, enjoy your singleness. Because when you're married, then you'll enjoy your marriage. Whatever you do, be your best. Be the best version of you. Be the best person that you can be. Sorry, that was a spelling error I just noticed. Better your best. Do and better your best. That was what it's supposed to be. In other words, do your best. It was supposed to be do your best at all times. Do your best. And when you have done your best, better your best. That's it. If you live by that, that is excellence. That is, live for that. Just be the best version of yourself, because everyone else is already taken. Don't try to be like someone else. Be like you. Don't try to copy other people. Let them inspire you, but be like you. But whatever you do, be the best you that you can be. That marks the end of my session. I want to ask you one question before I zone out. What has been your major highlight from this session? Pause and think. We've been talking now for the last 43 minutes. Write it somewhere if you have been taking notes. If not, write it, because look, at the end of the day, nothing changes if nothing changes. I don't want you to leave here and say, wow, that guy spoke. No, he didn't speak until you take away something. So catch something that you feel has spoken to you. If you're kind enough to write it in the chat, I will be happy to find it after sharing this screen. But whatever you do, remember, the most important thing is not what I said. It is what you took away. So I really hope and pray. As I told you, I prayed in the beginning. I said, God, I pray that this talk impacts, even if it's one person, I am happy. I hope and pray that your life will never be the same again because you listened. I want to invite you to just connect with me on YouTube. I have a YouTube channel where I post weekly videos. This month, it's our 6th anniversary. We are sharing some videos on marriage, how we met, how we found that we were right for each other, a few things that we learned, because it's been a journey of 6 years, and I think we have something to share. We have not lived long enough in that institution, but at least 6 years is good enough for us to share something that we are learning. On my Facebook, you can also connect, and on Twitter. I also have a WhatsApp number. Feel free to engage with me, and I will be happy to connect with you, and I will be happy to help you in any way that I can to help you to become the best version of yourself. Thank you very much for inviting me. I truly hope and pray it has been encouraging to somebody here. I will hand back to you, President Daphne.